KILARIGBO lẹ́tọ̀ lórí Ayekooto TV. Irú ẹyẹ bí ọ̀kín ò sí gbígbó. Bí kìnìún ọlọ́làjò àjẹgúnjẹran ò sí pé méjì láwùjọ ẹranko. Bọ́rọ̀ bá dọ̀rọ̀ ètò tó kọ́ni lọ́gbọ́n àti òye tó ń tàròjinlẹ̀ tó kún fọ́fọ́ fàṣeyọrí àwọn ẹ̀dá láyé. KILARIGBO lọ̀gá lórí ètò KILARIGBO. Ẹ ó ti máa gbọ́ ọ̀tún ìròyìn tó kún fọ́kàn jọ̀ka àwọn ìṣẹ̀lẹ̀ tó ń ṣẹlẹ̀ káàkiri àgbáńláyé. In line with media ethics and practice that's full of truthfulness, fairness, credibility, objectivity and balancing. Nípa pé káyẹ́ kan lẹ́gẹ̀dẹ̀ àgbáńláyé bó ṣe nípasẹ̀ àgbẹ̀, ètò ẹ̀kọ́, ọ̀rọ̀ ìlera, ètò ìrànlọ́wọ́ táwọn olóyìnbó ń pè ní humanitarian, ètò ìṣèjọba àwarawa, orin yóò ti máa pàdé bàbá wa ọmọ ẹ̀kúnrẹ́rẹ́ àlàyé síwájú sí i tàbí fọ̀ọ̀kan ìjọ̀kan ìbéèrè tẹ́ bá ní. Bóyá ẹ sì fẹ́ bá wa dòwò pọ̀ lẹ́yìnkéyìí ìlú tẹ́ bá wà, ẹ lè tàbí kí ẹ WhatsApp wa lórí +971 503 lórí Ayekooto TV lẹ́yìn tí mo wò ó láti sí tàbí ṣùgbọ́n nǹkan gbọ́. The truth must be told. Kò sí gbígbó. Bí kìnìún ọlọ́làjò àjẹgúnjẹran ò sí pé méjì láwùjọ ẹranko. Bọ́rọ̀ bá dọ̀rọ̀ ètò tó kọ́ni lọ́gbọ́n àti òye tó ń tàròjinlẹ̀ tó kún fọ́fọ́ fàṣeyọrí àwọn ẹ̀dá láyé. KILARIGBO lọ̀gá lórí ètò KILARIGBO. Ẹ ó ti máa gbọ́ ọ̀tún ìròyìn tó kún fọ́kàn jọ̀ka àwọn ìṣẹ̀lẹ̀ tó ń ṣẹlẹ̀ káàkiri àgbáńláyé. In line with media ethics and practice that's full of truthfulness, fairness, credibility, objectivity and balancing. Nípa pé káyẹ̀ nàná ọ̀rọ̀ kó dá sáká láì fi gbá kan bọ̀ kan nú lórí ohun tó ń ṣẹlẹ̀ káàkiri àgbáńláyé bó ṣe nípasẹ̀ àgbẹ̀, ètò ẹ̀kọ́, ọ̀rọ̀ ìlera, ètò ìrànlọ́wọ́ táwọn olóyìnbó ń pè ní humanitarian, ètò ìṣèjọba àwarawa, orin, ijó àti eré ayò. Níbi tẹ́tí máa pàdé bàbá wa ọmọ borí owó fúnra lára rẹ̀. Fún ẹ̀kúnrẹ́rẹ́ àlàyé síwájú sí i tàbí fọ̀ọ̀kan ìjọ̀kan ìbéèrè tẹ́ bá ní. Bóyá ẹ sì fẹ́ bá wa dòwò pọ̀ lẹ́yìnkéyìí ìlú tẹ́ bá wà, ẹ lè pè tàbí kẹ́ WhatsApp wa lórí +971 503 430 843. Ẹ má gbàgbé o wípé lórí Ayekooto TV lẹ́ẹ̀ tí máa wò ó láìsí tàbí ṣùgbọ́n wọ́n ní wọ́n pé tàbí kankan lórí ètò KILARIGBO. The truth must be told.
Dúpẹ́ fún Olódùmarè ọba tó ní kí èmi àti yín kí a tún jọ wà lórí ètò tòní. Ọlọ́mọ ọ̀hún ọ̀nà ni èmi àti yín ọ̀nà ni àjọ fi ọpẹ́ fún lọ́jọ́ tòní nítorí pé ọba ọ̀hún ọ̀nà ni ọpẹ́ wa tọ́ sí. Fẹ́yìn tí ẹjọ́ wò mí lónìí, èmi ọmọ yín náà ni orúkọ mi padà Mọ̀gbòròwó Ayekooto. Èmi náà sì ni olóòtú ètò tòní láṣẹ Ọlọ́run. Àjọ bẹ̀rẹ̀ àjọ máa mú bá ṣe mú. Tẹ́ bá gbàgbé a ti ṣe apá kìíní ètò tí a mọ̀ sí Ooni, Alaafin Ọ̀yọ́ and dynamic color of reality. Òótọ́ ọ̀rọ̀ ní kéèyàn máa sọ, torí pé níbi tí òótọ́ ọ̀rọ̀ bá ti ń jáde, ibẹ̀ gangan láti máa rí òtítọ́ àti òdodo tó yẹ kí mi àti tó yẹ ká mú gbọ́. Bẹ́ẹ̀ sì ni Yorùbá wọ́n ní bàbá wí á kú, wọ́n ní bá wí ọ̀run náà ní gbogbo wa jọ ń lọ. Kí wá ló wá dé tá à ní sọ òtítọ́, tá à ní fi òtítọ́ nílẹ̀, tá à ní jẹ́ kí oníkálukú owó mọ̀ wípé lóòótọ́. Bẹ́ẹ̀ ẹ má gbàgbé wípé aṣọ òpó ọmọ yẹ ìlú Ọ̀yọ́ mọ́ o, ọmọ yẹ ìlú Ọ̀yọ́ ti lù ọjà. Àmọ́ kó tó di kó débẹ̀ gẹ́gẹ́gẹ́ ìwé tí a ń kà yìí, ìwé ọ̀hún la pè ní Becoming Oòduà. Ẹ rí ìwé yìí, ẹ rà á tàbí ká sẹ́ndì soft copy ẹ̀ sí. Ìwé yìí ló ń sọ àwọn ipa pàtàkì tí àwọn ìlú kọ̀ọ̀kan ti kó, àwọn ọba ilẹ̀ Yorùbá. Ẹ bá mi lọ wo apá kìíní, ẹ rí torí pé a bẹ̀rẹ̀ níbi tí apá kejì lónìí, níbi tá a bá dé lórí apá kìíní apá kejì ibẹ̀ òun náà ni a ti bẹ̀rẹ̀ lónìí. Jẹ́ kí n sáré mú wá ní apá kìíní lérèfé. Apá kìíní sọ fún wa wípé nígbà tí gbogbo wọn sì wà ní abẹ́ Western Region, ọba Adésọjí Adérẹ̀mí òun náà ni alága gbogbo wọn. Bẹ́ẹ̀ sì ni wọ́n yan Aláàfin Ọ̀yọ́ ènìyàn ti rí bẹ́ẹ̀. Ẹ bá ń gbọ́n padà báyìí, wọ́n ní nígbà tó pẹ́ ọ̀gágun tí a mọ̀ sí General Muritala Muhammad àwọn bọ́ sí orí àlééfà. Bíbọ́ tí wọ́n bọ́ sórí àlééfà, àwọn ni wọ́n wá pín ètò ọ̀hún. Wọ́n pín Western Region, wọ́n pín sí ìlú, wọ́n pín sí state mẹ́ta: Ọ̀yọ́ àti Ògùn àti Oǹdó. Ìlú mẹ́ta tí wọ́n pín wọn sínú rèé, tí àwọn ọba ilẹ̀ Yorùbá ìgbà ọ̀hún tí wọ́n sì fọ́nká sí orílẹ̀ state tí wọ́n pín wọn sí. Ọọ̀ni, Aláàfin, Ọ̀wọ̀ àti Iléṣà àti Ọ̀ràngún Tilẹ̀lá, àwọn ni wọ́n bá ìgbọ̀nù ti Ọ̀yọ́ state lọ. Nígbà tí Aláké and Àwùjalẹ̀ Ìjẹ̀bú tí àwọn move sí Ògùn state. Nígbà tí àwọn tán wà ní Ewì Oǹdó, ti Èkìtì, Ẹlẹ́kọ̀lé of Ìkọ̀lé, Ọlọ́rẹ̀ of Ọ̀tún, Déjì Tàkúrẹ́, Ọ̀sẹ̀mẹ̀wí of Oǹdó, Ọlọ́wọ̀ of Wọ̀ àti bẹ́ẹ̀ bẹ́ẹ̀ lọ táwọn move sí Oǹdó state. Àmọ́ nígbà tó di ọdún 1979, October 4th 1979, ẹ dákun ẹ jọ̀ọ́ mo fẹ́ kẹ́ bá wa ṣètò yìí. October 4th 1979, òun náà ni ẹni tí a mọ̀ sí Bọ́lá Ìgè, òun náà ni àwọn gun orí àlééfà tí wọ́n jẹ́ gómìnà àkọ́kọ́ tó ọkọ̀ jẹ ní ìpínlẹ̀ Ọ̀yọ́. Àwọn ni wọ́n wá ṣe kíni o. Àmọ́ lásìkò yìí ara bàbá ìyẹn Ọọ̀ni tilé Ifẹ̀, ọba Adésọjí Adérẹ̀mí, ara wọn ò lè mọ́ láti máa lọ ṣe ìpàdé ní ìlú Ìbàdàn. Ìtàn sọ fún wa wípé nígbà tí ọba Aláàfin Ọ̀yọ́ ìyẹn bàbá wa Adéyẹmí Lámídì, nígbà tí wọn yóò jẹ oyè ní 1970, Ọọ̀ni ọba ọkùnrin Adésọjí Adé jẹ́ ọ̀rẹ́ wọn tímátímá, torí pé ajá ẹ̀ṣẹ́ á fi ẹ̀ṣẹ́ kù bí òjò, oní bàbá wa Adéyẹmí Aláàfin ṣe. Nígbà tí Ọọ̀ni tilé Ifẹ̀, ọba ọkùnrin Adésọjí Adé nígbà náà sì jẹ́ oníròyìn tó gbajúgbajà àti oníṣòwò tó ní owó lọ́wọ́ lọ́pọ̀lọpọ̀. Ṣùgbọ́n wọ́n ní ọ̀rẹ́ méjèèjì ọ̀nù wọn o. Ṣùgbọ́n nígbà tí Aláàfin Ọ̀yọ́ tí àwọn jẹ ìyẹn ọba Adéyẹmí Lámídì, wọ́n ní ọkọ̀ bọ̀gìnì Peugeot, òun náà ni ọba ọkùnrin Adésọjí Adé ni wọ́n rà fún bàbá wa Lámídì, gẹ́gẹ́ bíi pé wọ́n fi ṣàyẹyẹ pé ọ̀rẹ́ àwọn jẹ́ Aláàfin Ọ̀yọ́ tuntun. Wọ́n dẹ̀ sọ wípé jíjẹ Aláàfin ọ̀hún kò ṣe ẹ̀yìn Ọọ̀ni tilé Ifẹ̀ ìyẹn ọkùnrin Adésọjí Adé, nítorí pé ẹni tó wà ní orí àlééfà nígbà náà tí ó jẹ́ ológun tó wà nígbà náà, orúkọ onítọ̀hún òun náà ni ẹni tó jẹ́ pé òun gẹ́gẹ́ fún alárẹ̀ tó tún wá jẹ́ ọ̀rẹ́ Ọọ̀ni tilé Ifẹ̀, òun ló ṣe ètò bí Aláàfin ṣẹ́gun orí oyè nígbà náà. Orúkọ onítọ̀hún ni wọ́n sì ń pè ní Colonel Adéyínká Adébáyọ̀. Colonel Adéyínká Adébáyọ̀, òun náà ni wọ́n pè é. Bí apá kìíní ètò ọ̀hún bó ṣe lọ rèé. Apá kejì òun náà ni a ó ti bẹ̀rẹ̀ ìwà tí Aláàfin wù nígbà tí Ọọ̀ni padà jẹ Aláàfin, nígbà tí ọba Ògùn Adésọjí Adé nígbà tí ó jẹ oyè Aláàfin, tó jẹ oyè Ọọ̀ni tilé Ifẹ̀. Torí nígbà tí bàbá wa Adéyẹmí, bàbá wa Adérẹ̀mí, nígbà tí wọ́n kú ní ọdún 1980, ìyẹn July 3rd 1980, òun náà ni bàbá wa Adérẹ̀mí ni wọ́n jáde kúrò láyé nígbà tí wọ́n ti lò 50 years ní orí àlééfà. Ẹ ká mú láti bí tẹ́lẹ̀tẹ́lẹ̀ Aláàfin Ọ̀yọ́ ti ṣe bàbá wa Adéyẹmí Lámídì. Àwọn ni wọ́n jẹ́ igbákejì Ọọ̀ni tilé Ifẹ̀ ìyẹn bàbá wa Adérẹ̀mí Adéṣọjí. Àmọ́ nígbà tó di July 3rd 1980 òun náà ni Adérẹ̀mí wájà. Ẹ wá gbọ́n tó ṣẹlẹ̀ lẹ́yìn ìgbà tí Adérẹ̀mí wájà wá. Adéyẹmí saw the death of Ọba Adérẹ̀mí as a window of opportunity. He wrote to the governor Ige, beseeching the governor to proclaim him as the substantive chairman of the Oyo State Council of Oba. The governor reject. The governor reject. Ní tí wọ́n sọ ń bì ní pé bàbá wa Lámídì Adéyẹmí wọ́n kọ lẹ́tà sí gómìnà Bọ́lá Ìgè wípé kí wọ́n sọ òun di alága fún gbogbo àwọn lọ́balọ́ba ní ìpínlẹ̀ Ọ̀yọ́, ṣùgbọ́n wọ́n ní Bọ́lá Ìgè yarí pé kò ṣeé ṣe o, òun ò lè ṣe bẹ́ẹ̀ rárá tọ́. Bọ́lá Ìgè yarí. Barely 5 months after the passage of Adérẹ̀mí, Prince Okun Adesiju-Ade was enthroned as the 5th Ooni on December 6, 1980. Láàrin oṣù mẹ́fà láàrin oṣù márùn-ún ni wọ́n yan Ọọ̀ni tilé Ifẹ̀ mìíràn. He took the throne names of Olúbùṣe II, Governor Ige, while presenting him the staff of office, proclaimed the new Ooni as the chairman of the Oyo State Council of Oba. Ẹ gbọ́, wọ́n ní nígbà tí Bọ́lá Ìgè tó ń gbé ọ̀pá àṣẹ lé Ọọ̀ni lọ́wọ́, ìyẹn Ọba Okun Adesiju-Ade, ó dẹ̀ sọ wípé Ọba Okun Adesiju-Ade yìí o, òun náà ni olùdarí àti alága tuntun fún àwọn lọ́balọ́ba ní ìpínlẹ̀ Ọ̀yọ́. Having failed to impress the governor that he should be made the chairman, Alaafin Adéyẹmí decided not to give up the battle. Alaafin Adéyẹmí decided not to give up the battle. He was able to persuade 4 other leading traditional rulers. He was able to persuade 4 other living traditional rulers, the Ọwá Obokun of Ìjẹ̀ṣà, Ọba Adékúnlé Arúmọláran, the Ọ̀ràngún of Ìlá, Ọba Philip Ayẹni, the Olúbàdàn of Ìbàdàn, Ọba Yéṣùfù Olóyèdé Àṣànkẹ́, and the Ṣọ̀ún of Ògbómọ̀ṣọ́, Ọba Jímọ̀ Ọba Jímọ̀ Ọládùnní Oyèwùmí to join the crusade. This time around, however, his objective shifted so that he can have the support of the other Obas. He pleaded that the Nigerian, with the common of the Second Republic, have become a democratic and therefore traditional institute too should be ready for democracies. It was time the government should allow rotation. Aláàfin Ọ̀yọ́, Ọba Lámídì Adéyẹmí gangan ni wọ́n initiate tí a mọ̀ sí rotation láàrin àwọn Ọ̀yọ́. Àwọn gan ni wọ́n initiate ẹ̀, àwọn ni wọ́n champion ẹ̀, àwọn ni wọ́n bẹ̀rẹ̀, àwọn ni wọ́n dá sílẹ̀. Kí wá ló wá dé tí bàbá ilé wa lòun ò fẹ́ rotation? Nítorí pé bàbá ló jẹ èso àjàrà àwọn ọmọ òun náà ni èyí nǹkan báyìí. Now, Chief Dyamic should allow the rotation of the chairmanship among the 5 leading Obas, including the Ooni. Now, kí ni wọ́n ṣe o? Wọ́n wá raise petition nígbà náà. A petition to that effect was promptly subjected to the governor, who simply ignored it. Wọ́n wá kọ petition sí Governor Bọ́lá Ìgè. Àmọ́ kí ni Bọ́lá Ìgè ṣe o? Bọ́lá Ìgè wá ignore that petition, pé petition yìí kò lẹ́sẹ̀ ńlẹ̀. Bọ́lá Ìgè ṣe kí ni o? Ó ignore the petition. The Second Republic was a period of serious politicking, especially in Oyo, where the ruling party, Unity Party of Nigeria, UPN, was pitched in battle against the opposition National Party of Nigeria, NPN, which was in control of the central under the presidential Shagari. The 5 Obas decided to gravitate toward the NPN to achieve their ambition of democratizing the traditional institute of kingship. Wọ́n ní ṣe mọ̀ pé UPN òun náà ní Bọ́lá Ìgè wà, but NPN ní àwọn ìjọba tí wọ́n ṣe ìjọba lókèrè, ìyẹn ìjọba federal tó jẹ́ ti ṣe Bọ́lá Ìgè. Ṣùgbọ́n láti lè jẹ́ kí àwọn ọba yìí kí wọ́n lè achieve aim wọn fún rotation lọ́balọ́ba, fún rotation àwọn chairman lọ́balọ́ba, bàbá wa Déyẹmí Aláàfin Ọba Lámídì ó bá ogun wọn sọ pé kí gbogbo wọn káwọn kúkú lọ sí under NPN. Táwọn bá lọ sọ́ndà NPN, táwọn bá gba ipò tí àwọn tí NPN bá wọlé, ìyẹn tí gómìnà míì bá wọlé, tí wọ́n bá lé Bọ́lá Ìgè dànù, gẹ́gẹ́ bí wọ́n ṣe ṣe fún Ajímọ̀bí, gẹ́gẹ́ bí wọ́n ṣe ṣe fún bàbá wa Ládọjà, gẹ́gẹ́ bí wọ́n ṣe ṣe fún Àkàlà. Ẹ wo aburú tí Aláàfin Ọ̀yọ́ tí wọ́n ti ń lé kalẹ̀ fún gbogbo ọmọ Yorùbá láti ìgbà yìí wá. Bẹ́ẹ̀ òun náà ni gbogbo wọn ṣe o. Ọwá tí Òbùkún tilẹ̀ Ìjẹ̀ṣà, Ọ̀ràngún tilẹ̀ Ìlá, Ṣọ̀ún tògbómọ̀ṣọ́ àti bàbá wa Àsáǹkẹ́, gbogbo wọn wá múfù lọ sí NPN. Wọ́n tẹ̀lé àwọn Haúsá, wọ́n tẹ̀lé wọn lọ. To achieve their ambition, democratizing the traditional institute of kingship. 2 of them had a serious problem. Láàárín àwọn ọba yìí, àwọn méjì péré wá níṣòro nínú wọn. Àárín àwọn ọba yìí, the 2 of them has a serious problem at the home about this involvement. Àwọn méjì nínú àwọn ọba yìí, wọ́n ní wàhálà ní inú ilé wọn láti lè achieve aim wọn. Àwọn wo ni wọ́n níṣòro ọ̀hún? Number 1, Governor Bọ́lá Ìgè. Governor Bọ́lá Ìgè was from Ẹ̀sà-Òkè, one of the many Ìjẹ̀ṣà towns where Ọwá Arómọlára claimed paramountcy. Now, Bọ́lá Ìgè wá láti Ẹ̀sà-Òkè. Ọwọ́ Òkùnkùn tilẹ̀ Ìjẹ̀ṣà tó náà fẹ́ dìtẹ̀ Ọ̀ọ̀ni, òun náà wá láti Iléṣà. Báwo ló ṣe fẹ́ ṣe? Kò sí ọ̀nà. Ẹ máa gbọ́. Di Ọ̀ràngún tilẹ̀ Ìlá náà ńkọ́? Ọ̀ràngún tilẹ̀ Ìlá, Ọba Adéyẹni had a similar problem. Àwọn náà ní irú ìṣòro ọ̀hún. The secretary to the state government and later deputy governor under the Bọ́lá Ìgè, Chief Bisi Akande, was one of the Adeyemi's leading chief as the Aṣíwájú of Ìlá Ọ̀ràngún. Ẹ̀rí bẹ́ẹ̀ yẹn, kò sí wọ́n ti fẹ́ ṣe ẹ fẹ́ lé ọmọ yín dànù, ẹ fẹ́ gbé Haúsá wa ni. Ó difficult fún àwọn méjèèjì yẹn. Nevertheless, the 1983 election came and Bọ́lá Ìgè was defeated. Pẹ̀lú gbogbo ẹ̀ náà o, the 1983 election ó wáyé o, Bọ́lá Ìgè kò sì wọlé ní ẹlẹ́ẹ̀kejì. In an election that was believed to be heavily rigged in favor of the NPN. The Emagbo now, to wá ṣẹlẹ̀ again, it will be the Alaafin to wá bẹ̀rẹ̀. The Alaafin group quickly submitted its petition to the new governor, Dr. Omololu Olunloyo. The Alaafin groups quickly submitted its petition to the new governor, Dr. Omololu Olunloyo, the famous mathematician and controversial politician. Olunloyo declined to act. Olunloyo declined láti lè act because mo important Ọọ̀ni Ilé Ifẹ̀. Ó náà ṣe kíni to act. gbogbo bí wọ́n ṣe ń gbé ó decline. Now he will not rock the boat. Mo ní lè fẹ́ wa ọkọ̀ yẹn kó ojú omi yẹn máa wọ lẹ́sẹ̀. The rebel Obas were taught comply to continue to work with the Ooni. Àwọn ọba tó kù gbà láti tẹ̀lé Ooni, láti máa bá Ooni ṣiṣẹ́ lọ, kú gbà kádàrá as the permanent chairman of the Oyo State Council of Oba, a position he has held since the day of the old western region. In tá a ti ń jẹ́ láti old western region, ẹ̀yin ará Ọ̀yọ́ alimorufu tẹ́ alimorufu ẹ kàn sọ̀rọ̀ ní ẹ ka ìwé ẹ lọ wo ìwé ẹ gbá research lánàá ọ̀rọ̀ tó ń sọ. Ọọ̀ni ti ń jẹ́ olórí gbogbo àwọn lọ́balọ́ba bọ̀ láti the old western region. Ẹ lọ kàwé, ẹ má kàn bọ̀ sórí mídíà kẹ́ ẹ máa sọ̀sọ́kùsọ ẹ lọ́pọlọ rárá. Alimorufu ẹ̀yin ni mo ń bá wí torí pé gbogbo fídíò tẹ́ ń ṣe bábátá ni mo rí, ó sì yẹ ká kàn yín lábùkù, ó yẹ ká kàn yín ní àbùkù torí pé Ilé Ifẹ̀ ò kì í ṣe tí ẹ gbọ́dọ̀ wọnú sí lára tẹ́ ẹ bá kì í ṣe tó bá jẹ́ pé lóòótọ́ ẹ kì í ṣe ọmọ àlélẹ̀ Yorùbá tẹ́ ẹ jẹ́ ọmọ Yorùbá tẹ́ ẹ jẹ́ lóòótọ́ ọmọ Ọ̀yọ́ tẹ́ ẹ kì í ṣe Fúlàní, ó yẹ kẹ́ ẹ mọ̀ wípé ẹ ti ń kọjá àyàrá yín sí ìlú Ilé Ifẹ̀ ilé tí ó sì dẹ̀. Èmi ò gbowó lọ́wọ́ ni o, ṣùgbọ́n orí àpèrè Oòduà yẹn, orí àpèrè gbogbo wa tá a sì gbọ́dọ̀ fọmọ́ ni. A gbọ́dọ̀ jọ kí ẹnikẹ́ni ó bẹnu àtẹ́lu àṣà àti ìṣe ilẹ̀ Yorùbá. A ò gbọ́dọ̀ jẹ́ kí ọ̀làjú kó mú wa débi wípé a máa bà ilé bàbá wa jẹ́ nítorí kíni kò ṣe ń tó dára rà tọ̀. Eléyìí tí Lájí Abbas náà ń ṣe ìgbìmọ̀ pé tó bá pẹ́ tó bá yá àwọn náà padà wá túbá, ṣùgbọ́n Almoruf dẹ́ẹ̀dẹ́ mìíràn torí pé ẹ̀yin lẹ bá yé Aláàfin Ọ̀yọ́, ẹ̀yin lẹ bá yé ẹ̀jẹ̀ débi tó dé, ẹ̀yin lẹ ṣokùnfà bàbá Ọ̀yọ́túnjí, ẹ̀yin lẹ ṣokùnfà ẹ̀ èpè bàbá ọ̀hún náà ló sì ń jà gbogbo yín. Jẹ́ ká tẹ̀síwájú. Now, Oyo State Council of Obas, a position that held since the days of the old western region. The art and mouse game continued under the military until Oyo State was split again. Until Oyo State was split again in 1991, when the whole Osun province became Osun State. With the coming of Osun State, both Owa Obokun and Orangun decided to see their sword in the remaining part of the Oyo, and Alaafin was emerged triumphant and as the new chairman of the Oyo Council of Oba. It was a costly victory because báwo ni Aláàfin ṣe wá padà wá di new chairman pé ó dá ọba Àsáǹkẹ́ àti ó dá Àsáǹkẹ́ àti Ṣọ̀ún Ògbómọ̀ṣọ́. Mo ti sọ tán pẹ́, mo ti sọ láìmọye ìgbà, so a nílò àti tún sọ nípa yẹn náà lọ́tẹ̀ yìí. Jẹ́ ká tẹ̀síwájú. In the new Oyo State, both the Olúbàdàn and Ṣọ̀ún Ògbómọ̀ṣọ́ were determined to hold Alaafin to his word. In the new Oyo State, both the Olúbàdàn and Alaafin, both the Olúbàdàn and Ṣọ̀ún Ògbómọ̀ṣọ́ were determined to hold the Alaafin to his word. Because tí wọ́n bá wó Alaafin lórí to his word, and then they wanted the rotation of the chairmanship position among the three. The Alaafin did not want it. The Alaafin did not want it. When democracy came again in 1999 with the election of the governor Lam Adesina, the Ṣọ̀ún and the Olúbàdàn continued their agitation, but Alaafin Adeyemi had a strong supporter who believed that democracy would not be good for the traditional institution of Obaship. In the pre-colonial days, the Alaafin took precedence over every Oba except his father. In Ile-Ife. In the traditional hierarchy, both the Ṣọ̀ún Ògbómọ̀ṣọ́ and Olúbàdàn were very junior to him. Neither of them was listed among the prince of Oduduwa. They were only elevated to full membership in 1978. But in 1978, by the military regime of then Brigadier David Midayese Jemibe, the governor of the Oyo State. Therefore, Alaafin Adeyemi was able to enlist the support of the leading Oyo State citizen, including the powerful duo of Alhaji Lamidi Ariyibi Adedibu and Alhaji Azeez Alao Adesekola. But Adedibu and Adesekola remain unmovable in their support for the old order. But the Soun and Olubadan were resolute in their campaign. In January 2006, Theophilus Alao Akala, Theophilus Alao Akala, a former policeman and a former deputy of the governor Rashid Ladoja. Now, the Olubadan became the governor of Oyo State in the selection to the old boss. How was impeached in a truly macabre circumstances. Akala, a native of Ogbomoso, was interested in looking at the Oba's petition. He made it known that he was interested in the prayer of the both Soun and Olubadan. He believed that in this modern era, no traditional ruler should lord it over the other. Alaafin Adeyemi was said to have met President Olusegun Obasanjo to experience his fear. Obasanjo, a known supporter of traditional institute, was however said to be indifferent in the struggle going in Oyo State. On May 3rd, 2011, May 3rd, 2011, Governor Akala announced the removal of the Alaafin as the permanent chairman of the Oyo State Council of Oba. He said that the Alaafin will now rotate that position with the Olubadan and Soun Ogbomoso. Alaafin gangan, Akala gangan lọ́kọ́kọ́ creating time sí rotation, kì í ṣe bàbá wa tó wà ń bẹ́ǹsì yóò. Alaafin Akala lọ́kọ́ make sure wípé ó announce Alaafin Ọ̀yọ́ pé kì í ṣe permanent chairman of àwọn ọba mọ́. Ó dẹ̀ announce pé kí wọ́n bẹ̀rẹ̀ sí ní rotate láàrin àwọn mẹ́tẹ̀ẹ̀ta, Soun Ogbomoso, Olubadan àti Alaafin tìlú Ọ̀yọ́. Then death interfered. Most of the major players in Oyo State, most, ṣé ká sọ wípé Olubadan gan, ṣé ká sọ pé Alaafin Ọ̀yọ́ ló ń pa wọ́n ni? A lè sọ bẹ́ẹ̀. Most of the major players in Oyo State dead one after the other. Dead one after the other. Lamid Adesina dead in 2012. Alao Akala dead in 2022. Adesekola dead in 2014. Adedibu dead in 2008. While Alaafin Adeyemi dead in 2022. By 2025. By 2025, new prayers were emerged in Oyo State. Engineer Seyi Makinde has now emerged the governor. Ogbomoso has a new song, Obagandi Afolabi Olaoye. Ibadan had installed the durable politician and former governor of Oyo State, Rashid Ladoja, as the Olubadan. It was time to look at the old petition. calling for rotation of the chairmanship, signed by the Alaafin Oyo. The rotation of chairmanship was signed by Alaafin, Ṣọ̀ún Ògbómọ̀ṣọ́, Olúbàdàn, Ọwá Òbòkun, and Ọ̀ràngún Ilé-Ìlá. The Oyo State House of Assembly, where Ògbómọ̀ṣọ́ and Ìbàdàn representative were in a clear and unambiguous majority, were correct into the game. They were ready to give rotation a legal backing. The new Alaafin, Oba Abimbola Owade, was installed by Governor Seyi Makinde on April 5, 2025. The colorful ceremony was attended by guests from across the Nigerian Federation. The Ooni of Ife, Oba Adeyeye Enitogusi Ojaja II, lead a reunite of Obas from the Yoruba land to grace the occasion. He has emerged as the co-chairman of the National Council of Traditional Ruler and the chairman of the Western Nigerian Council of Traditional Ruler. With the installation, Oba Owode has now joined the League of the First-Class Traditional Ruler in Nigeria. The new Alaafin used the occasion of its installation to make it known. Very important. The new Alaafin used the location of its installation to make it known that he was ready to struggle for the continuation of the old order. This is another topic, that Alaafin Oyo is ready to struggle for the continuation of the old order. Alaafin ṣe tán láti tún gbé ìgbésẹ̀ tó ti ń gbé, àní wọ́n ṣe tán ṣe bàbá yìí ṣe tán àti dá nǹkan rú, bàbá yìí ṣe tán àti jà, bàbá yìí ṣe tán àti dá gbogbo ẹ̀rú. He's ready of order. He reminded his audience that it was not just the Alaafin of Oyo, but of Oyo Empire. He wanted it known that he was ready to demand for the ancient privilege of the Alaafin when he was in charge of an empire. Since coming to the throne, he has been struggling to trap with the new dynamic of the traditional institute. Becoming Oòduà is available in the leading Nigerian bookshop. Becoming Oòduà Oníwèrè. Ẹ wo bí wọ́n ṣe kọ ìtàn. Ẹ wo ọ̀nà tí wọ́n gbà tí wọ́n fi kọ ìtàn. Ẹ wo bí ìgbésí ayé bàbá wa Ọba Aláàfin tòní ọdún wọn ṣe rí. Ẹ wo bí wọ́n ṣe ń gbìyànjú àti da ìtàn rú. Ẹ wo ọ̀nà tí wọ́n gbà àti da nǹkan rú. Ẹ wo bí wọ́n ṣe ń gbìyànjú àti bà nǹkan jẹ́. Ṣé bí yóò ṣe máa lọ rèé tí gbogbo owó sì fọwọ́lẹ́ rán táwọn owó bàbá yìí tí wọn yóò fi pa nǹkan jẹ. Ṣé lèyí tí wọ́n bàjẹ́ tó yìí náà ò tí ì tó? Ṣé lèyí tí wọ́n dàrúgbó yìí náà ò tí ì tó? Níbẹ̀ ni ó ti yé èmi àti wípé àwọn wọn yóò wá láti wá gbà wá là, àwọn yóò wá láti wá tún ilẹ̀ wa ṣe, lè ṣe pé wọ́n wá láti wá da ilẹ̀ Yorùbá rú. Jẹ́ ká lọ gbọ́ àwọn ọ̀rọ̀ tí àwọn àgbààgbà kan tí wọ́n sọ. Kí ni tí wọ́n wí? Kí ni tí àwọn bàbá yìí, kí ni tí wọ́n fọ̀? Ẹ rí nígbà tí àwọn bàbá yìí, nígbà tí wọ́n ń sọ̀rọ̀, ẹ ó gbọ́ ohun tí wọ́n sọ wípé ó yẹ ká mọ̀ wípé lóòótọ́ ewu ń bẹ lóko lóúnjẹ jẹ fún alára ẹ̀, ewu náà ni. Lẹ́kìn àti ẹ ká jọ lọ gbọ́ àwọn bàbá wa agbọ̀gbìtàn Professor Tóyìn Fálọlá nígbà tí wọ́n ń ṣe interview ní ọ̀dọ̀ ẹ̀gbọ́n. Kẹlọ́gbọ́n tí bàbá yìí, kẹlọ́gbọ́n tí wọ́n sọ nípa àwọn ọba méjèèjì.
It was not an empire, it was a city.
The city. The empire had fallen.
It had collapsed.
broken into pieces, of which Ibadan was one.
That collapse was led by the Fulani attack.
Was triggered. It was triggered by the Fulani crisis because they subsequently control Ilorin. And then they launched a series of invasions.
It has to do with Alimi.
Yes. So when that empire collapsed, people fled in different directions. And the small segment went to now what you call Oyo. It was not an empire. Governed by Atiba. The people who become Alaafin now are Atiba's children. Descendants of Atiba children, two families. It was not the Oromiyan Empire.
Oromiyan Empire is gone.
It's gone. But if Awadi now wants to tell the story, he will tell the story of the empire, not of Oyo Atiba. You understand? Ife was sacked twice in the 19th century by Modareke and Ibadan. Twice they relocated, went to Osogbo. The place was sacked. It was never an empire like Ibadan or Oyo. But two things happened. Its spiritual significance was recognized. But more fundamentally, when Awolowo founded Egbe Oduduwa, he needed that Oduduwa Ife story to elevate political unity among the Yoruba people. And the most influential Ooni then was Aderemi, who became what you now call a governor. The governor was ceremonial. You understand? They were calling them premier, right? But there was a governor.
The Wendam Azikiwe represented the Queen.
Yes, as
Governor General.
Yes. No, it was even made the president, wasn't it?
He became president when Nigeria became a republic in 1960.
But he wasn't the one with the power.
Yeah.
It was the prime minister who had power. So, but both of them claim the history they want to claim. So when they called me and said, but you're an historian, I said, this is not an historian's business. Because they're basically making political claims on the history you choose on your own.
Is Alaafin connected to an Ooni? Is there any relationship, blood relationship?
In the history, Yoruba mythology of creation and expansion, yes. Okay. If you want to understand Yoruba cities, their origins, there are three elements: fundamentalist, primary migration, secondary migration. Fundamentalist is Oduduwa story. This is where we created. And they can even take you to the spot. But as Yoruba became Christians and Muslims, they created a theory of external migration. So sometimes they will connect Oduduwa with Mecca, with Saudi Arabia. They are not the only groups who do that.
These stories were created.
Yes, you have to create them.
And I just wake up and say, let me create a story.
Like Genesis chapter 1, it was created.
Fiction, right? That's the point you're making.
Call it fiction. If you are a Christian, you'll be angry if I say fiction.
All right.
Because faith means you have to believe the story. So if you tell a Christian, God made the earth in 7 days, if you call it fiction, he's going to get angry. Yeah. So just call it faith. So they came in contact with the Quran and the Bible, and they began to revise the history. Remember, in subsequent years, the Igbo also said they are Jewish people who came from Israel. People do that. Now, when you come to the primary migration, after creating Oduduwa, right? They now move further that he had one son, which they gave a name, and the son has a number of children. Oromia was one of them. And that was the connection between ancient Oyo and Ife tied to Oromia. And that same Oromia tied Ife with Edo history. Egeriva and others until the current king comes, who is revising the story, creating his own story, the Oba of Benin. It was Oromia that created the Benin monarchy for them. So, and then you now have secondary migration, where those children originally went, to Edo, Oyo. People also now left those regions to create their own, creating a lot of secondary stories.
So from those children, which of them became Ooni?
It was the one living there in his father's palace.
All children of...
The other left.
Mm-hmm.
They left.
Oromia came to Oyo?
Yes, and went to Benin.
But they are all children of Oduduwa?
They are all children of Oduduwa's son. So these stories have been there forever.
And this rivalry will not stop between the Alaafin and Ooni?
The rivalry was created by the British when they raised the Alaafin as the #1 preeminent king of the Yoruba.
And Awolowo came?
And now reverse that. And by the 50s, Dyamic was deposed. And Awolowo now said the spiritual head, if we are all children of Oduduwa, was a preeminent one.
Mm.
And remember that if you study the politics, the AG became UPN. They had power for more time.
You know, as a historian,
around the year 1840, Yoruba land was under serious military pressure. The Oyo Empire had already fallen. Power was shifting. From the north, the Ilorin Emirate, connected to the Sokoto Caliphate, was expanding south, trying to control more land and more trade routes. Their goal was simple: control key towns, control movements, control the coast eventually. One of the most important targets was Osogbo. Osogbo was not just a normal town. It was a refuge city when war destroyed their home. It was also located on a major route connecting Ekiti, Ife, Ibadan, Oyo, Ilesha, and Ilorin. The town had double defensive earth walls. These were deep ditches. The Osun River protecting part of the town naturally. If Osogbo fell, the road into deeper Yoruba land would be open. So Ilorin attacked, not once, not twice. This was the third serious major attempt. They came with about 5,000 troops. Most were cavalry, horse soldiers with spears. In the open land, cavalry was deadly, fast, heavy, and terrifying. Osogbo was in serious danger. So the king of Osogbo urgently sent a message to Ibadan. At this time, Ibadan had already grown from a war camp into one of the strongest military power in the region. Remember, Ibadan was formed immediately Oyo Empire fell. But Ibadan was just a survival camp from the fall of Oyo Empire. These guys have already grown into strong military power in the region. Ibadan first sent a smaller reinforcement. It wasn't enough. Then they sent their main army, led by Balogun Oderinlo. Ibadan army entered Osogbo from the south. To enter the town, they crossed the Osun River. At a crossing point where Oderinlo reportedly paid 200 cowries for their transportation across the river. Just hold that thought. 200 cowries. It will become important later in the story. When Ibadan arrived, they did not attack immediately. They studied the enemy. They watched movement. They studied cavalry pattern. They waited. Because fighting cavalry in open daylight would be dangerous. So they planned something unusual. Very unusual. They planned...
Ẹ̀rí ṣe bẹ́ẹ̀ rí àwọn ọ̀rọ̀ tá a ti mú wá fún yín tí ojú méjì lọ látàárọ̀ yìí. Ìyẹn ló fi ń yé wa wípé ìran Yorùbá ọ̀rọ̀ wa gbà sùúrù. ó yẹ kí àwọn ará Ọ̀yọ́ ó yẹ kí wọ́n mọ̀ wípé níbi tí ọ̀rọ̀ wọn dé báyìí níṣẹ́ ló yẹ kí wọ́n ṣe sùúrù nítorí wípé ewu ń bẹ lóko lóńgẹ̀gẹ̀ fún alára ẹ̀gá ni ewu ni fún wa. Yorùbá sì ní tó wọ̀ mí ò tó màá fi gọ̀gọ̀ fà á tí wọ́n ń fà yìí ohun tí ó lè padà wá ṣẹlẹ̀ ó ṣeé ṣe kí agbára wọn ó mọ̀ padà wá ká àti pé tó ń ṣẹlẹ̀ lọ́wọ́lọ́wọ́ sìn agbára wọn gan ò ká torí wàhálà ọ̀hún ti pín wọ́n lẹ́mìí wàhálà ọ̀hún ti wọlé débi tó yẹ pé agbára wọn ò ká mọ́. Ọ̀rọ̀ lẹ́gbọ́n tí mo ti sọ kalẹ̀ yìí mo jẹ́ rò pé lónìí ó yẹ ká mọ̀ wípé òótọ́ ọ̀rọ̀ ò ní sáláì pé ká má sọ òun torí pé òótọ́ lóòótọ́ òun mọ̀ jẹ́ ẹ̀yin náà tẹ́ bá ní ìwé tí mo fẹ́ kà yìí ẹ lọ gba ìwé ọ̀hún ẹ lọ kà á ẹ rí òótọ́ ọ̀rọ̀ ń bẹ̀ wípé ìlú Ọ̀yọ́ ò fi ìgbà kankan nínú ìgbésí ayé wọn lédè Ilé Ifẹ̀ kódà láyé old western region tí àwọn tí wọ́n jẹ́ àwọn colonial master àwọn ni wọ́n ń gbé Aláàfin Ọ̀yọ́ gẹ́gẹ́ tí wọ́n ń gbé gẹ́gẹ́ àwọn ni wọ́n ń gbé ṣùgbọ́n kó tó di pé Aláàfin bàbá tó wà nítorí pé ó jẹ́ Awólọ́wọ̀ ti jẹ́ kí wọ́n mọ̀ wípé kò rí bẹ́ẹ̀ Ọọ̀ni lórí torí pé Awólọ́wọ̀ ló padà yọ bàbá Aláàfin tó wájà Awólọ́wọ̀ ló yọ bàbá ẹ̀ kúrò lóyè so látàrí ìdí èyí ìtàn Yorùbá ò rújú Yorùbá sì ní àkọsílẹ̀ káwa ni kákan káwa ibi tí àkọsílẹ̀ ọ̀hún káwa ibi tó wà káwa rí ká lè bá mọ ibi tá à ń lọ. Ó wá ṣe mí láàánú wípé tí àwọn ará Ọ̀yọ́ ò bá ṣọ́ra ìlú Ọ̀yọ́ padà kúrò níbi tí wọ́n wà torí pé à ń gbọ́ fìrìfìrì wípé àwọn aláàgọ́ ọjà ti yarí báyìí pé àwọn ará Ọ̀yọ́ gbọ́dọ̀ máa san ìsàkọ́lẹ̀ fún àwọn ní orílẹ̀ àwọn tàbí kí wọ́n fi orílẹ̀ wọn sílẹ̀ àmì lè wá fún wa ní ọ̀làlágbára Ọlọ́run ẹ̀rí ẹ jẹ́ kí a mọ̀ wípé ìwọ tó bá wà ní ipò ọlá dẹ́dẹ̀mìíràn ìwọ tí Ọlọ́run bá gbé ipò ọlá lé lọ́wọ́ dẹ́dẹ̀mìíràn àìfi sùúrù ṣe lónìí òun ló fẹ́ kó àkóbá bá Aláàfin Ọ̀yọ́ ó sì ti kó bá Aláàfin Ọ̀yọ́ torí pé níbi tí Aláàfin Ọ̀yọ́ níbi tó di ẹni yẹpẹrẹ dé lónìí àyàfi kí Elédùmarè kó ṣàánú fún wa wọ́n di ẹni yẹpẹrẹ láwùjọ wọ́n di ẹni yẹpẹrẹ nínú ilé wọ́n tún di ẹni yẹpẹrẹ níta. Ibi yìí ó náà ni a ó ti mú ètò tòní wá sí òpin oníyanṣe ọlọ́bẹ̀ṣe ẹ̀yin tí bá wa jẹ́ náà ẹ kú àìpẹ̀rún tí di ọ̀la tí èmi àti yín tí a ó tún jọ máa pàdé lórí àkànṣe ìjọba kan náà ó dàárọ̀ orúkọ tí mi padà ọmọbìnrin owó Ayekooto ọ̀nà ni èmi ń jẹ́ títí di Ọlọ́run èmi àti yín àní tójú dòdò ó dàárọ̀ ká sùn láyọ̀ ká jí láyọ̀ kí Olódùmarè kó lápọ̀lábọ̀ ó fi sọ àti ààbò ẹ̀ ó fi sọ wá ẹ ṣé.
KILARIGBO lẹ́tọ̀ lórí Ayekooto TV irú ẹyẹ bí ọ̀kẹ́ òsì gbígbó bí kìnìún ọlọ́làjò àjẹgúnjẹran ọ̀sẹ̀ pé méjì láwùjọ ẹranko bọ́rọ̀ bá dọ̀rọ̀ ètò tó kọ́ni lọ́gbọ́n àti òye tó ń tàròjinlẹ̀ tó kún fọ́fọ́ fàṣeyọrí àwọn ẹ̀dá láyé KILARIGBO lọ̀gá lórí ètò KILARIGBO lẹ́ ó ti máa gbọ́ ọ̀tún ìròyìn tó kún fọ́kàn jọ̀ka àwọn ìṣẹ̀lẹ̀ tó ń ṣẹlẹ̀ káàkiri àgbáńláyé in line with media ethics and practice that full of truthfulness, fairness, credibility, objectivity and balancing nípa pé káyé nàná ọ̀rọ̀ kó dá sáká láì fi gbákan bọ̀kan nú lórí ohun tó ń ṣẹlẹ̀ káàkiri àgbáńláyé bó ṣe nípasẹ̀ àgbẹ̀ ètò ẹ̀kọ́ ọ̀rọ̀ ìlera ètò ìrànlọ́wọ́ táwọn olóyìnbó ń pè ní humanitarian ètò ìṣèjọba àwarawa orin ijó àti eré ayò níbi tẹ́tí máa pàdé bàbá wa ọmọborí owó fúnra lára rẹ̀ fún ẹ̀kúnrẹ́rẹ́ àlàyé síwájú sí i tàbí fún ọ̀kan ìjọ̀kan ìbéèrè tẹ́ bá ní bóyá ẹ̀ sì fẹ́ bá wa dòwò pọ̀ léyìíkéyìí ìlú tẹ́ bá wà ẹ lè pè tàbí kẹ́ WhatsApp wa lórí +971 503 430 843 ẹ má gbàgbé o wípé lórí Ayekooto TV lẹ́ẹ̀ tí máa wò ó láìsí tàbí ṣùgbọ́n wọ́n ní wọ́n pé tàbí kankan lórí ètò KILARIGBO the truth must be told.